Hi, everybody. Welcome. We were back at tea at the Ritz or whatever beverage you want to have in front of you. Maybe something cool, a long, cool drink. A Pimm's would be nice, wouldn't it? Lots of fruit on top because it's quite a warm day. Anyway, whatever you're drinking, cheers and welcome. I've had a really difficult few days. I will admit it. I've been very angry, very upset about something that's been going on. I'm not going to go into any great detail, but suffice it to say that you and I knew what we were accepting with our, stay home, protect the NHS, save lives. That message was crystal clear, wasn't open to nuance and interpretation at all. And I feel that all those people who've made the most amazing sacrifice to comply with what the government required of us, that's been made a mockery of by one individual who decided that he was above all that and could behave differently without censure, it would appear to be. Anyway, I've tried to calm myself down and not be quite so angry. And I'm certainly not angry today in the sense of what I'm talking about, which is something certainly very, very dear to my heart and something I desperately hope to achieve, which is to have a long, happy and healthy life from now until whenever my time is up. So this is part two. Yesterday I looked at attitudes and beliefs and all those things that might inform your sense that old age is something that's quite negative in lots of ways, that we don't have very much to look forward to. Well, I want to change that even more today in what I'm saying. As I said, I hope I started that process yesterday. But what I feel about lockdown is very strongly that it's been an absolute gift. It's been a gift for many reasons, but one of the biggest gifts that it's certainly given me, and hopefully you as well, is that it's allowed me to ask some really deep and searching questions about what is important to me, what I'm missing, what I long for, what I'd like to get back to, what normal looks like, and how can I create that normal again, hopefully sometime in the future? But it's really helped to get some clarity and some understanding from that. And I think that this is very helpful. I really do. I think that when we move into a different life stage, which is what Act 3, the later life part of our life is, then getting some clarity about all of those things is important. And certainly from my point of view, I know that what I'm missing, really, really missing so much, is the love and satisfaction that I get from being around my family. And I know that's true for a lot of you, but I've got a little tiny granddaughter called Matilda, who's 3. She's so cute. And I just want to see her and see how she's doing. And India with all her funny little ways, and Freya, who I have been keeping in touch with, and my 2 very grown up now, nearly as tall as me, grandsons, Rory and Patrick, who are just wonderful now to sit and chat to and find out all about what they're doing in their lives and so on and so forth. And it's just been so hard not to have them in my life. And then the normal lunches and times together, having a cup of tea and so on and so forth. So I'm really missing that. I know that I want that back very badly, but I'm also missing things like popping out to the cinema. I love going to the cinema on a Saturday. I'll look up and see that there's a good film on and think, oh, I'll go and see that. That looks great. And although I often go on my own, when I get there, I'm with other people, and that shared communal sort of cultural experience of being with others is not this. It's gone, and it's not the same sitting and watching Curzon Home Cinema. I'm enjoying the films, but I'm not enjoying the fact that I can't go out and do that as an activity. And of course, I'm missing out being able to pop out, see people, have a cup of coffee with somebody, have a chat with somebody. All that spontaneity has gone. And it's so hard, but it is really making me clear about what I'm missing. It's really making me clear about what I value, what my purpose is, what I'm doing here, what I want. And it's very much making me think about some of the things that I want to change when things go back to some semblance, I hope, of normality, whatever that looks like. Now, I think that this third act of life, the first act, education, second act is all about building career, family, and so on. This third act, which we call retirement, is a challenge in interesting ways. I think even the word retirement is the wrong word. Retirer is the French word, which means withdrawal. So in our parents' day, the idea was that you did your work. For most men, that meant till 65. At that point, you stopped. And of course, the government expected when they set up pensions that they'd be paying your pension for somewhere between 7 and 9 years. Obviously, that's changed a lot. But that arbitrary moment of 65 came at the point at which you were supposed to withdraw. That this was a period in your life, perhaps, of less, not more. Less excitement, not more excitement, less choice, not more choice. Now, for some people, obviously, retirement was also very exciting. That moment when the alarm went off and you could ignore it, when you didn't have pressures and deadlines and things to do, places to go, people to see, and busy, 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 busy. That release from that could feel like a true liberation for some, but not all people. However, now we have stretching in front of us from the age of 60, 65 and onwards, a long period of time, which again was what I was trying to say to you yesterday. We can expect 20 years of retirement. We will probably get 30 years of retirement, possibly more. Now the challenge then becomes, what do I do with that? Now, I also mentioned yesterday this programme that, frankly, put the fear of God into me. It was the Channel 4 programme about a retirement village. I think it was in Northampton or Nottingham or somewhere like that. It was a lovely place, in fact. These people weren't poor, they weren't hard up. They had chosen to buy apartments, flats with single beds in this retirement village in order to have I presume, a happy retirement. But the end result of it was a series of things that really did upset me. This was before their lives changed by interaction with 4-year-olds, but they were very cut off from society. This retirement village had been created to give them a safe place for them to go and, do their odd bits of shopping and so on, but it meant that they didn't bother to go beyond it. So they were cut off from society. They were all the same age. They were all old. They didn't mix intergenerationally, apart from with their families, but some of them didn't have much contact with their families. They were isolated and certainly slightly cocooned. They had nothing to do. There was no role for them in this village other than living out their lives. They were frightened and anxious, quite a lot of them. They were physically worried all the time about falling over. That was the big bugbear. It was like falling over is the beginning of the end. If I start falling over, they'll cart me off, and they were terrified of it. So they had become physically very cautious. So here were a group of people who had had interesting lives. We found out about their lives. One had been a headmistress of a large school. Another had been an entertainer and a singer. They had had full, rich, interesting lives, and suddenly they were literally in God's waiting room, sitting and almost waiting for the inevitable, quite depressed, quite in physical poor health, and certainly mentally in very poor health indeed. Now, I looked at that programme and I just thought, is this for me? Am I, when I'm 72 now, we're talking about maybe 5 years, perhaps 10 years. Is that my fate, to become that older person? Now, every fibre of my body rails against that, because that is not what I want. And I'm thinking, okay, what can I do now? How can I make sure that that doesn't happen? And I think that a heck of a lot that I can do now can actually prevent that from happening. So, I want different role models for sure. I do not want these people and think of that as what I'm aiming for. I have several role models, in fact, but there's a wonderful woman. You can look her up on Google. I'm not sure what her name is, but she lives in Norfolk. She drives she's 105 and she still drives a Mini. She's one of the oldest drivers in the country. And she, as she says, she's been driving, and she's been driving for years and years and years and years. I know there's lots of jokes about older people driving. They usually reference Prince Philip, and they are very ageist, all those jokes. But this woman, who I think might be called something like Rose still drives her yellow Mini very safely around the Norfolk roads where she lives, and she drives herself to yoga. So here is a fit, active, healthy person. And she was asked by a reporter, well, how do you feel about being 105? And she said, I don't feel anything about that. I'm just look forward to the rest of my life. That's how I want to be. So this is the kind of attitude and role model that I want to have. I've got a very particular goal in mind, and again, hostage to fortune maybe, but when Patrick, my lovely older grandson, is going to be 30, my daughter Susie will be 60 and I'll be 90. So we'll have 30, 60, 90 in the family, and I'm sure there'll be a party of some sort, especially Susie, because she's a party girl. She'll be wanting to celebrate her 60th birthday, and I am going to be at that party at 90 dancing with Patrick. I've already told him I'm going to be dancing with him. I even might practice a special dance, a bit like they do for weddings, but I am not going to be waving my walking stick in the corner around at people. Hello, hello. I'm going to be up there giving it my all on the dance floor with Patrick. That's my vision. That's my purpose. That's my objective, if you like. So I think that at the age of 65, I sort of had an existential retirement crisis, if you like. It was quite severe for me because I'd had purpose for a year, helping to look after India, and a lot of ways that I'd been needed, really, really needed by the family to help to support that very difficult situation. And then it sort of washed me up onto this shore. I'd given up all my work contacts and I had literally nothing to do. Now, at that point, I could have very closely came to almost subsiding into a sort of almost like a desperate depression. I was definitely making a date to watch television programs. I'd even rush back if I was out because Countdown was about to start, or Pointless or something like that. Pointless were a wonderful name for a program for retired people, Anyway, I knew that I had to do something. So I started to ask these questions, what do you love, Tricia? What are you passionate about? What do you miss? What do you want? How do you want your life to look? What do you want to happen? And I kept on asking those questions. I kept coming up with different answers. But to the question, what do you miss? I miss having fun. I miss meeting younger people. I miss meetings with people where we're solving a problem. I miss business. I miss feeling scared. I miss I don't know, taking risks. My life felt safe and boring and lacking in anything that would get me out of bed in the morning, apart from having a full bladder. It was just I just felt like there was a lot that was missing. So then I asked questions like, so what do you want? What do you love? I love making money. I love being entrepreneurial. I love putting myself on the line. I love makeup. I'm angry about ageism, all forms of ageism. I particularly hate the beauty industry and the way they use young models to sell anti-aging products. I hate anti-aging products. Why can't I be older and look, still look beautiful? All of those things were bubbling and burning away inside me. And you know what I solved? How I solved it. I had no intention that Look Fabulous Forever would be, the big multinational business that it's become. But out of that yearning and desire for a more interesting life came passion, action, and ultimately what has happened. And now I have loads of contact with younger people. We have younger people in the team. I have lots of excitement. I have lots of fun. I have lots of sort of energy and enthusiasm and excitement because I'm doing something that I really, really love. So out of that despair came a lot of positivity. So I think getting really clear what you don't want. I knew what I didn't want. and I still know what I don't want. And then thinking about what you can create to be what you do want is important. Now, I'm going to recommend something to you. I'm actually on a Zoom meeting tonight, which you can join if you want to, with these people who've written this book. It's called Act 3, The Art of Growing Older. It's by Judy and Adrian Reith, who I know. I am included in the book in a couple of the bits, the bit about purpose and the bit about work. And I want to recommend it to you because it could be that this can be a process for you that you could work through. This book is it's a workbook really. It's full of exercises and interesting and stimulating things. Let me read a couple of things from it. You get a feel for what it is. So they've given a what you'll get from this book, which is how to reimagine what's possible for you, what your purpose is, and giving examples and structure to think about values and work and play and home and relationships and your interests. So it's a book that you can work through in a structured way, logical way. You will also get how to establish achievable goals that satisfy you instead of missing out, and tips, hints and suggestions and so on. And what they'll do, the book will help you to feel more positive, to feel quieter and calmer, focused, reduce your worries, be much clearer and less bewildered, help you understand why you're making these decisions, and reassured about the years to come. Have more fun, have more energy, and get what you really, really want. So there's lots of lovely sort of thoughts and ideas, and they've based it on the principle of a tree. If I bring that close, you can see what the tree is. So you've got the roots down the bottom there, things like your attitudes and purpose and so on. Then you've got health as the trunk of the tree. That's obviously very, very important. And then the branches coming off that. So this is a book that can help you to get some clarity, hopefully. They are running these Zoom meetings, Judy and Adrian, every tonight is Thursday, every Thursday evening for about an hour, and you can join in. It's entirely up to you. So if you're interested, we've put the link to it in the email we've sent you, and we'll also put the link underneath this video. So hopefully you'll think that might be an interesting thing for you to come in. And of course the book, if you're interested in buying that, you can buy it from Amazon. I'm sure other providers are also available. So I hope you'll be interested in that, and maybe look forward to seeing you later on. As I said, I'm going to be in a question and answer session, and I think there's a sort of workshop element to it as well. Zoom allows you to put people into random groups, and then you can have a discussion and then come back. That might be quite fun. I'm certainly looking forward to it. It's from about 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, so do join in that if you're interested. And I'm going to finish with a poem. It's a lovely poem. I really like it. It's by Robert Frost. There's a book called The Road Less Travelled, which I think was based on this Frost poem. But it's certainly something that I think we should all be thinking about as we're negotiating our way through this third act of our lives. So, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair and perhaps having the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So I definitely took the road less travelled when I was 65, but very thankful that I did. Maybe see you later. Definitely see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. And tomorrow, let's talk a little bit about longevity and our health. Very important subject. Okay, bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.